Hello, thank you for joining the Texas Instruments New Product Update webinar. Just a reminder that this is a weekly series every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central. A few quick announcements before we get started. This webinar will be recorded and available online at ti.com/MPU. All phone lines will be muted, so if you have questions, please use the chat box and we will try to answer in real time, or you can contact your TI salesperson or field application engineer. Today's topic is introducing the new Arm Cortex-M0 MCU portfolio. I will now pass it over to Shreya Mandel for introductions.
Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Thank you for the introduction, Kelly. I'm very excited today to announce and let everyone know about our new Arm Cortex-M0 Plus MCU portfolio, or better known as MSP M0 microcontrollers. Okay, so today's agenda will be talking about the portfolio introduction and features. We just launched and made everything live last week at Embedded World in Nuremberg, Germany. And I'll be diving into specifics for the L series and the G series, and then how to just get started. Okay, so for our MSP M0 MCUs, we really wanted to have three key pillars that really showcase our portfolio, which is cost optimized, scalability, and simple to use. So our devices include availability in a variety of speeds, memory sizes, pin counts, and integrated analog options. So in our portfolio today, we have the 32 megahertz family, which is our L series, and our 80 megahertz family, which is G series, and devices that are coming from 8 kilobytes to 128 kilobytes of flash, with 16 and 64 pins. And what's also really exciting is that these are pin-to-pin compatible across the different memory variants. So for example, if a customer would like to use a 128 KB part and want to go down to 32 KB or 64 KB in that specific package variant, you're able to do so. Also, our temperature ranges cover from -40 to 105 degrees Celsius and extended to 125 degrees Celsius, and also coming to our AEC Q100 automotive options as well. So our team has worked really hard getting feedback from customers and sales teams and field teams how to make this simple and easy to use. So we have many different tools that I'll dive into today as well, on graphical device configuration with code generation, having code size optimized drivers, and honestly just plug and play subsystems, reference designs, and code examples, so that you can quickly incorporate MSP M0 into your product and ultimately accelerate your time into market. So with that being said, MSP M0 MCUs really are providing customers and designers and engineers more options and unlimited possibilities. So kind of diving into our core pillars on exactly, what is their compute, our memory, package, sensing, control, and connecting of what are the key peripherals and key care abouts that engineers and designers have. So as mentioned, all of our MSP M0 devices itself have this Arm Cortex-M0 Plus CPU, and we have available speeds from 32 to 80 megahertz that are less than 96 microamps megahertz as well. And we also have a math accelerator, which I'll dive in a little bit deeper in our M0G series, which can give you optional math operations such as division, square root, trigonometry, and other operands there. As well as we have a very small footprint packages from SOT, VSOT, QFN, QC, and QFP from 16 to 64 pins with pin-to-pin compatibility. And kind of providing the same message of did not just launch one device. These are families of devices, so that depending on what type of housekeeping, supervisory function, or secondary MCU applications that you're using, you can utilize that in your design. We also have leveraged, TI's strength in the analog peripherals. So in our sensing piece, we have up to 4 mega samples per second 12-bit star ADCs, along with our industry's first zero drift chopper op amps with PGA integrated into the MCU, as well as having comparators, DACs. So really, depending on the level of analog integration that you want, we have different devices, which I'll go into the next slide, kind of through the XY graphic, on how you can pick and choose which MCUs, best for you. And then in the control side, specifically for motor control applications, we do have different types of timers, general purpose low power timers, and different DUCs as well. And then in the connection piece, we have the standard, UART2C SPI and CAN-SD, which is new for MSP M0 specifically, as well as security features like the AES functionality. And in terms of just in general with our voltage range, we have voltage from 1.62 to 3.6 volts up to 1 microamp standby, having a on-chip high frequency oscillator, and in general, enabling a customer to really have that breadth of scalability for all of our different parts. Yeah, and then another just key point for the packages side, we have offered a variety of packages. Some of the smallest packages are, coming from 16 pins and going up to the 64 pins piece of it as well. Okay, so this is kind of giving you the scalability of all of our devices that we have published today online. So you can see here that the main two series of the 32 megahertz L series MCUs you see in the blue, and then the red 80 megahertz G series as well. And then the yellow is 80 megahertz G series with CAN-SD. So it's the same series, but with integrated CAN-SD. So from here, today, they are live on their product folders. You can request samples, launch pads. The data sheets are available, as well as our software development kit. So again, as the months go on, this is our initial launch. There will be additional devices being added and updated to this view, but just kind of showing the scalability of all our different devices here from 8 kV to 128 kV right now for our two families at the moment. Okay, so kind of touching a little bit more on the packaging side, the scalability that we have right now, 8 pin-to-pin compatible packages, where we really wanted to emphasize that it's 2 times the pins that you are able to have, but half the space. So for example, we have our 16 pins SOT package versus a competitor 8-pin SOIC package that you can utilize more pins for more functionality, but at a low cost. So kind of re-emphasizing our messaging is that we did really work, to create this portfolio where you can have that cost optimization, a safe workspace on the for your designs, as well as increase your functionality too. Okay, so diving into MSP M0L series, which is really what I like to call the entry-level MCUs for simple applications. And there's 2 different families, which is MSP M0L 13XX and MSP M0L 110X. So the main differences between those is really the analog peripherals, right? So for MSP M0L 130X, if you're looking for a transimpedance amplifier, if you're looking for a zero drift op amp, if you're looking for a comparator, that's what MSP M0L 13X will have. And then MSP M0L 110X going up to 32 kilobytes of, 64 kilobytes of flash, is that you do have a general purpose op amp. You have the general ADC as well, and a temperature sensor, timers, and your IOs as well. So for these types of functions, very like supervisory functions, ADC to wake up time, and things like that you can utilize the entry-level devices for. And what's a really key point that I wanted to emphasize is that starting at our 1 KU price, it's starting like 39 cents, so low cost for an MCU, as well as having 0.5 microvolts per Celsius for op-amp input offset drift. And we have 46 different OPNs, or orderable part numbers, from 8 KB to 64 KB, which has different package and peripheral options. So yeah, so that is our first family only for entry level for MSP M0L devices. And going into a little bit deeper for the getting more accuracy of your sensors, right? We have around 7 times the reduction input for offset voltage error. So as you can see that from the data that we have on the left, kind of comparing the input offset data versus the temperatures with no chopping, you can see that the data is kind of all noisy, like, it's not a clean output. But then with input offset versus temperature with chopping, you can see that there's 0 crossover distortion and around less than 150 picoamps of available ultra-low input bias current as well. So we really wanted to emphasize that in these different types of sensing applications, you can utilize an integrated zero-drift op-amp in your MCUs, and this is both for MSP M0L and MSP M0G too. Yeah. So for MSP M0G, all these devices in this family operate at a speed at 80 megahertz. And this is kind of, again, we have 3 different families that, or sorry, 4 different families that we have kind of like you're adding higher peripherals to each of the families, but again, making it simple. So starting from G110X, that is your general purpose M0G device, and then going to 150X, you're adding a little bit more analog, such as your just op amps. We have the math accelerator as well. And moving on to 310X, you have adding more the CAN FD and G350X as well. So here we have dual 4 megasamples per second 12-bit ADCs with up to 14-bit oversampling. So depending on your application, you can be able to utilize this functionality, as well as 3 times lower latency in field-oriented motor control loops. So we've already seen a lot of different applications specifically for motor control, and I'll go a little bit more deeper. But in our software ecosystem, we have motor control designated libraries as well, so it'll be easy to get started to utilize that functionality. And in this case, we do have 87 different OPMs, which are from 32 KB to 128 KB of memory, which package peripheral options. So these are, again, you're going to see devices that include more of our advanced peripherals, such as like the math accelerator, CAN, and LIN, and all of those different functionalities here. Okay, so for the math accelerator piece for MSP M0G, we really wanted to enable fast and efficient math operations at an 80 megahertz M0 plus CPU. So key features here is that we have a 32-bit hardware divider for fixed point and IQ format numbers, as well as divide operations that are up to in 8 cycles. There's square root operations in 21 cycles, 24-bit trigonometric calculations. So as you can see here, again, 3 times lower loop latency in field-oriented motor control applications, 6 times more square root operations per second, and 10 times more divide operations per second as well. So you can see on the graph to the left, we really wanted to show kind of a comparison between like 64 megahertz, 80 megahertz, and 80 megahertz M0 plus with our MSP math accelerator, really showing how many math operations per second you can do compared to the other 2 devices. So we wanted to emphasize that this significantly reduces the calculation time of the different operations, increase the computational power for math-intensive and real-time critical tasks, speed up the control loop applications like in motor control FOCs, and lower the power consumption for math calculations as well. So again, re-emphasizing the, you're getting lots of functionality at a low cost, and we have a lot of resources to help, to help support that for your design and your application. All right, so now that we understand the devices, the hardware, what we have launched with MSP M0L and MSP M0G, the next question obviously is, how do we use these, and how do we, use software to actually implement the functionality? So we have 2 different tools that is offered today, which is the graphical configuration tool called sysconfig, or system configuration tool, which is really a unique tool where that you can use different peripherals and literally drag and drop and have automatic pin mux resolution that will generate code as an exoskeleton of your code. So, for example, if you want to do like a GPIO toggle or some sort of application there, you can literally click and see that, okay, what is my, whatever device that I connected to, what is my code that has been generated. We also have we also have the quick code examples and how-to videos as well that you can take a look at so you can get started pretty easily. Another really unique tool is the analog configurator. So based on its name, it's really a tool, again, another graphical tool where you're really dragging and dropping analog blocks to create your design or your front-end analog configuration. So picking a op amp or picking a ADC. So really it's like you're picking, you're wiring it, you're testing it, and you're deploying it. And just with a few clicks, you can visualize your signal chain, make modifications, and view real-time data for evaluation. So I think this is a big benefit for those who are not as familiar on how to utilize these types of discrete components within an MCU. And again, we also have really quick videos to watch there as well on how to get started with this tool as well. And diving into our software ecosystem really is seeing both of these diagrams. On the left, you can see that we've kind of created a toolbox, right, of like, this is your application, and here are all the different types of resources that we have for you to utilize. So we have middleware such as automotive, IEC 60730, motor control, TI drivers, non-RTOS and RTOS, different driver libraries, which is optimized for code size and intuitive designs, the TI drivers, which simplifies more abstraction, and optional built-in RTOS management. And then middleware really emphasizes the ease of development of specific applications in different market sectors, such as building factory automation, IEC 60730 self-test library, and appliances. So utilizing this ecosystem is what really is kind of giving those building blocks for you to integrate it into your design. And we also have MSP M0 Academy, which is really just diving through different specific functionalities of how to use the MCU itself. So, and there's like different like kind of activities that you can utilize so you can really understand how easy it is to use. Is that over 200 code examples on basic functions. And of course, we have our two launch pads available today, which is MSP M0L 1306 and MSP M0G 507, which is basically the two superset variants of our devices that you can do everything on to start evaluating. So also wanted to emphasize our third-party ecosystem as well, where we have different partnerships and tool chains, such as with like Kyle, IAR, and also working with like Seger and Alphatronic, and there's more partnerships in request as well. So yeah, so all of our MSP M0 devices come with access to our entire software ecosystem, which includes the graphical user tools that I showed, which is sysconfig and analog configurator. And you can really just set up and initialize the device very quickly during development. And our optimized software has layers built in it too. So for different variety of application standards and depending on what you're looking for as well. So getting started, today we have many different resources and content available. So we have our MSP M0 overview page that's live on TI.com, where you can just get started with information on product selection table. You can also, there's different application sections such as building automation, medical, appliances, power delivery, factory automation, and introductory to automotive functions as well. And we have, and each product folder actually has many different technical blog contents and white papers, such as mentioned here, like how Arm Cortex-M0 plus MCUs are optimized in general purpose processing, sensing, and control. So it's very kind of like a quick how-to on, like, if you're thinking about a certain, like, oh, I want to create a smoke detector. We have a app brief that walks you through it of how to use the MSP M0L1343 and implement it into your design. Or if you want to learn how to create a thermometer or a pulse oximeter, we have that as well. We also have some basic demo videos that we did launch at Embedded World as well, which is showing a blood pressure monitor and a pulse oximeter, as well as a chamberless smoke detector configuration too. And so yeah, so the MSP M0 overview page is definitely a huge resource that has everything on there. And MSP M0 SDK has a separate product folder as well that you can request and get started with all of the examples and tools that I just mentioned how to use. Then we have MSP M0 Academy training, which is, as I mentioned, kind of going through different peripherals and functionalities of just very quick, like 5-minute videos on how to use everything. As I mentioned as well, with the applications piece, we have, and we're still working on more applications as well. So if there's anything that you guys are looking for specifically, or you want to know maybe like a dual chip solution and things like that, we are definitely working with other TI product lines, as well as integrating these new applications for MSP M0 specifically to have that available. Then we have the MSP M0 production product selection tool, which really is helpful because, of course, like, you know, as I mentioned, these are not just 1 or 2 devices. This is a whole family of devices. So it's really helpful to kind of see getting to pick and choose which parts will make sense and that is best for your design. And then we do have our development tool kit, which is MSP M0L1306, which you can have available to request today. So if there's, I guess, the main message that I want to present to everyone today is that we are definitely super excited to launch this whole new family. And as I mentioned, it's just kind of the beginning. And the main takeaways are that it's low cost, scalable, and simple to use. And we are working on creating more collateral and just ease of use type resources that everyone can use. And we're looking forward to your feedback and wanting to know what else you are looking for as well. So with that being said, you can get more information on tia.com/MSPM0 and visit the tia.com/new product update webinar page to listen to this recording again, and feel free to ask me any questions.
Hey, Shreya, we actually have a few questions in the chat.
Okay, let me take a look.
Yeah, one of them is from Scott, and he asks, which grade under AEC Q100 are you guys proposing providing parts for? And then he mentioned, please say grade 0.
Let me believe grade, I believe it's going to be grade, I believe it's, I cover mostly industrial products, but I'm just double checking with the team real quick on what specific one that we are offering. Let's see. Any capacitive touch peripherals. So probably you guys know about the MSP 430 Captivate portfolio, which is still that level of family still running. Right now for M0, we do have some applications with, like we have tested out like capacitive touch with timers, but nothing specific like this is a dedicated capacitive touch sensor on MSP M0. Let me see some other questions. What's the key differentiator on this MSP M0 compared to MSP 430? No, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is obviously the core. We're an Arm Cortex-M0 Plus. We have higher compute speeds to 32 megahertz and 80 megahertz. It's definitely more low cost than MSP 430 from the devices that we have today, and pin-to-pin compatibility between all the different packages. The analog peripherals are a little bit more, I guess, refined and have high, for depending like the zero-drift stop bands and things like that. So I would say those are the main key differentiators there. Let's see, what else do we have? Will there be a launchpad board for G series? L parts, yeah. Yes, so we do have a launchpad for the G series. I believe on the web right now, it's like you can request it. So I will have to, like, it'll come through our like, I guess, channel where I can approve it for you. So we have two launchpads, the MSP M0L and MSP M0G devices. Any other questions? Question is, MSP M0 comes as pin-to-pin compatible with MSP 430. It's not pin-to-pin compatible, but we do have an MSP 430 to MSP M0 migration guide that kind of tells you how you can move to MSP M0 from 430. So that's already on the web on all of our product folders. Yeah, how easily can MSP 430 code be ported to these devices? As mentioned, and I guess I can also maybe put it in the chat as well. On exactly which, yeah, okay. Another question is, do you plan to have M0 parts of USB interface? That is definitely in our roadmap for the future, so yes. And for the automotive parts, I believe I got confirmation that it's grade 1. So sorry, it's not grade 0, but I can definitely bring that feedback back to the team. And then let me guys show you MSP M0, MSP 430. And also, let me just share my screen here real quick so I can show you a little bit of all the different resources that we have today. So as I was kind of mentioning, right, we have the how to pick the right MSP microcontroller for your application, bootloader host implementation, idea to product with ease of use tools, power optimization guide, a migration guide from ST to M0. Oh, there it is. Migration guide from MSP 430 to MSP M0. Yeah. Yeah, so I can put that in the chat for you guys. Okay, and I believe, and again, if you want to have more details on this for the automotive question, from my understanding, it's being called Q1. So I believe that is what the classification is for these AEC devices. All right. I guess, Kelly, I think it's time, but I really I think there's one last question. Oh, a couple more questions. Okay. I thought you mentioned hardware functions. Yes. I'm not sure which data sheet that you downloaded, but it's the MSP M0G devices that have that. MSP M0L does not have that functionality. So it would be an M0G devices that have the math accelerator. Okay, and any MSP 430 devices being phased out in the future? No, there's both of these products, like these products are continuing for the long term. So recommendation is obviously if there's like SRAM devices that customers like to use, continue to use them. If there's devices that, you know, M0 seems like a better fit, please go ahead and use that. But 430 is here to stay, and MSP M0 has launched, and there's more to come there. All right, I think that I answered most of the questions. Yeah, and I hope that please take a look. And again, if there's feedback that you have that something's not there, or you're looking for something, feel free to contact me and let me know, and I'll try to help you to the best of my ability. But I really appreciate all of you for taking the time, and as I mentioned, very excited to launch this new product, and hope to continue to come to more new product webinars with our new families coming along the way for MSP M0. So thank you so much for your time and questions.
Thank you, Shreya, and thank you everyone for attending today's MPU webinar. The recording and PDF version of the slides will be available at ti.com/MPU. See you next week for our next topic, 4-channel synchronous vibration center reference design featuring ADS127L11. Have a great day, everyone.